We're right close to WrestleMania, but more importantly, we got Stand and Deliver next week, which I think is going to be. We talk about the Wednesday Night Wars, the very last one. NXT is going to go out with a bang. I think they're gonna top AEW, and it's going to be at a margin that like AEW normally has on some of their big nights, like when Sting showed up or something the first time. It's going to be a big night because just even if it was just one show, huge.
Yeah, I mean the card alone. If they put, I mean there's some filler matches to get 2 nights out of it, but if they put their 5 championship matches just on one night, I don't know who would still just tune into AEW. Because holy shit, this card is amazing. If for no other reason, Walter and Ciampa, that's going to be just incredible. I'm even repping the Psycho Killer.
Yeah, I
can't wait.
But like, what is really the filler match? Like Dunn Kushida, like they added that, like, but that's still pretty good. That's still pretty great. Like,
no, I mean, there's a bunch of there's a handful of like singles matches. I think they're doing an extra tag match, just kind of to round out 2 nights of the show, where they would normally just have championship matches and maybe that one, probably Dunn Kushida.
Yeah.
Or maybe not even with the addition of the UK Championship match. They'd have a pretty full takeover card.
I think if anything, to me, and I still think it could be, it's going to be interesting. But if I had to put my finger on what I would consider a filler match, it's that gauntlet match to determine Johnny Gargano's challenger. That one to me doesn't necessarily need to be on a takeover.
Yeah, that's kind of something they should have rounded out probably this week, because there's a lot of guesswork going on. But you did have a chance to watch NXT this week, right?
I did, yeah, I did.
Okay, so you saw how amazingly well booked Dexter Lumis is. That match alone was a testament to just how well booked his entire run in NXT so far has been. That's how all of the creepy monster characters should be booked. Just stand and stare, all creepy like. No words. You don't have to do anything. Like, I'm good with it. And I truly go ahead.
Oh, I did see a good meme where it was just a picture of Dexter Lumis, where it's like, when you're part of a group project, you don't do any work, but you still get an A anyway.
That's about it. His work with Undisputed Era, the Kyle O'Reilly freak out was incredible, and now using him as this weird bromance with Austin Theory. I mean, there's so much that they've done with him without him even really cutting promos at all. He just kind of lurks and is creepy, and it's been awesome. To the point where I honestly, the big payoff on the Austin Theory thing could be Theory costing Gargano the belt to Dexter Lumis. I don't know why I didn't put that together until just now. But let's see what we've got for the night 1 card. We have Pete Dunne versus Kushida, Walter Ciampa, the gauntlet match, Scott, Ruff, Reed, Grimes, Lumis, and LA Knight, which I'm still not a huge fan of that name, but it works with his thing there.
What were those sneakers that lit up? Like
LA Lights.
LA Lights or something like that? Yeah. Like when we were... Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
It's a combination of British Knights and LA Lights, so it's kind of effort. Yeah. We've got MSK, Grizzled Young Veterans, and Legado del Fantasma for the vacated Tag Team Championship, and Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez. That, honestly, if you'd asked me a month ago, I probably wouldn't have been excited about that. But Raquel Gonzalez, she's a superstar. Like, everything she's done since that tag team tournament, she is a superstar. So if somebody's finally going to take that belt from Io, I could see it being her.
Yeah. I had just this weird thought when I was watching her last night. It's just like if there was a meet and greet and my wife Elsa was around, I just want to like have them do a meet and greet and a picture together. So it's like Elsa's 5'3" and Raquel Gonzalez is gigantic. I don't even know how, how tall she is, but she's large. So maybe 6'1", possibly 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
tall. I mean, she is just leaps and bounds taller than every other woman.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if they had her stand next to some of the main roster women. I think
Yeah.
Charlotte's probably the tallest of them.
Yeah.
I would imagine so. So it'd
I'm
like an interesting way to kind of gauge how tall she is.
Yeah. I'm sure she's taller than like Gargano, Adam Cole, like Champa, like yeah, probably a lot of the men's NXT roster. She's probably a
Yeah,
lot taller than them.
they
So
do have a very it's a lot small. It's not Vince guys. That could be why they
yeah,
all stay in NXT so damn long. Uh, all right, let's fire off some predictions for night one. Um, what you got in the women's championship match?
I'm going to go with Gonzalez. I think she's really she's impressed me, and I haven't even seen that much of her. Royal Rumble is really kind of the first because she was on Royal Rumble, right? Like
I believe so. Yeah,
yeah, like to challenge for those titles, or at least the NXT shortly thereafter, or something like that. I saw her and I was just like, I've been really impressed with her. She can talk. She's got a great look. The only thing that hurts her for Vince McMahon later is that she's not blonde, but you can fix that if you really needed to. Um, but that would also look weird for her standing next to Charlotte Flair, I think. Um, yeah, so I think it's her time to come, and Io's had that belt for a very long time. So, and of course, the pandemic has probably made it longer than she may have otherwise had it, but still, like I think it's time to move on. But it's been a great run that she's had.
yeah.
So
I think we talked about it on the last podcast that they've got to find somebody to put that belt on because she's run through the entire women's division at this point.
yeah,
That
and, honestly, if Io won, who you've got to bring in some from the outside at this point.
I mean, maybe that I can't. I'm spacing on her name, but that they keep talking about her being like the young upstart. She was on NXT Wednesday night, and I cannot for the life of me remember her name off the top of my head. But maybe they're building towards her being, their next big thing. But I'm going to go with Raquel Gonzalez because she, like I said, she's
Yeah.
a superstar. NXT Tag Team Championship, MSK, Grizzled Young Veterans, and Legado del Fantasma.
I can't say I know much about Legado del Fantasma that much. I have not seen them wrestle that much, but I've seen a bunch of MXK when they were the Rascals in person in LA, and they impressed the hell out of me. And I would love to see them get it. But at the same time, Grizzled Young Vets, like I can't fault that either. Like I love them too. So I'm just going to go with MSK. If we're going to go with who I'd like to win, I'm just going to go that way. But I feel like it could go either one of those two. Maybe it can go the third option, but I don't know enough of them to really make that call. So
I'm going to go Grizzled Young Veterans. I think somebody in NX, probably Triple H, really likes them. I'm a huge fan. Um, I don't know that you can let Legado del Fantasma win after Kushida single handedly destroyed them the other night. Um,
uh,
it makes the rest of the tag division look weak as shit. Um,
yeah,
so I think it's got to be either MSK or Grizzled Young Veterans, and I'm a huge fan. Mostly their promo work. I really like Grizzled Young Veterans, so I'm going to go with
oh
them
man,
there.
Zach Gibson. The moment he picks up that mic and they just throw on the booze, like it'd be great when he's champion again, or when he's champion and they have crowds back again, and just that chorus of booze is so good.
We're going to hold off on the gauntlet match just until we get to night two. Then we'll just do both of those at one time. Um,
Well, then we're going to
NXT,
come back again on Tuesday anyway, and that's when we'll
yeah,
pick up night two.
NXT UK Championship. I know you are a massive fan of Walter. and I'm like the Uber Tommaso Ciampa mark. So we're probably split on this
You
one.
know, as much as I like Walter, like I'm gonna go with Champa just because again, it's another like Io Shirai thing. Like, uh, I think that would be great, and I think maybe taking Champa over at NXT UK for a 6 month tour would actually be pretty good for him. I think he needs a. I mean, he came back from injury and all that, and he's been having good matches. But I think having some fresh matchups would be nice, and getting him away from the same company as Johnny Gargano, like would be also be nice. Just so there's not that even discussion or even fallback of, hey, let's just throw those two again, like they do with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Um, so yeah, that's what I would like. I would like them to put the title on Champa, give him a nice UK vacation for 6 months or so while he defends that belt over there. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, I mean they clearly have an aversion to putting Goldie back on him. So I guess if you give him this belt, he can go to the UK, and it's his new Goldie. So I'm kind of in the
Yeah,
same boat. Um, I also
and
they've
it's a
been
better
doing
looking belt.
it really is. Um, I really like what they've been doing with Imperium on NXT, and I think by keeping Walter here, letting Champa take the belt back over there, you can do a lot more with Imperium when you've got their like Uber enforcer like in the building. So I think he serves a better purpose on NXT um, if they're going to stay, and I think they
And
should.
then
I think that tag division. I mean, they've clearly got a handful of really good tag teams: MSK, Grizzled Young Vets. Legado del Fantasma puts on great matches. They just you can't get stomped by Kushida single handedly and then win a
yeah,
belt. It just doesn't work. And there's still 4 or 5 other teams that are out there working. Um, I think Imperium serves a great purpose on NXT as like the boss fight. Everybody
yeah,
needs a boss fight, so I think you give Ciampa the belt, keep Walter around, and let Imperium become the bosses because you're not going to have Undisputed Era anymore. So you
yeah,
need that like the key holders, gatekeepers,
yeah.
if you will. And then
If
finally,
if the belt goes on Champa, oh sorry, just one. If the belt goes on Champa though, like how likely are you to maybe start watching some NXT UK,
I
checking it
absolutely
out?
would. The I don't know if
Yeah,
you saw the finalized weekly TV schedule for pro wrestling. Now now that NXT has moved to Tuesdays, but this thing is nuts. You've got Raw. Tuesdays is going to be NXT. AEW still on Wednesdays. Thursdays is New Japan and Impact. Friday, you've got SmackDown, more New Japan. Oh, Thursday is also NXT UK. It's just, I mean, there's so much damn wrestling. I honestly, it may get to the point where the only days of the week I watch wrestling become Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which
yeah,
is weird to say because I they have done great things on SmackDown lately. I know that a lot of people stay so focused on how bad Raw is that they don't watch SmackDown just because of it. But
yeah.
but SmackDown has consistently been a good show for a while, particularly since they let Roman turn. Um, I'm not a huge fan of Apollo Crews and his sword wielding Nigerian bodyguards and stuff. I think a lot of it
Yeah.
is what Vince thinks is is the bad guy. But yeah, I absolutely I would follow Tommaso to NXT UK, and
Well, and
I would watch NXT UK anyways.
yeah,
There's plenty of talent. I think that if he had that belt, I would be extremely interested in watching him cut promos.
and I think the interesting thing, like obviously WWE, NXT, and all that, they're not going to do, the Forbidden Door thing like AEW is doing with New Japan, Impact, and all that. They're not going to work with other companies, with some exceptions that we'll get to later. But uh, but they need to do almost kind of that territory system within their own brands to keep things really fresh. I think more of Finn Balor going back to NXT. There should be more of just freedom of movement between brands. When someone starts getting stale or they start doing the same match every week, just move them around, move them between bands. And that's exactly what they did during the territory days to keep feuds fresh and stuff. Some of the guys would hang out there for 2-3 months, be great. And I think Ciampa going there would be amazing, and kind of doing the same thing there. So yeah.
I completely agree. And I think what would serve everybody well is if they did the draft more often and they did legitimate drafts. I don't want creative to have any input over who goes where. I want names on ping pong balls in a damn bingo machine. Just random as shit. I don't care if SmackDown is every woman in the company. Like, figure it out when they get there. Because the last draft, they just moved every feud from one show to the other. Like, don't move Seth Rollins to get him the fuck away from Rey Mysterio and then have both Rey and Dominic Mysterio follow his ass to SmackDown. Like, you're just going to be lazy with it. It's Ciampa, Gargano, Sami Zayn, KO again. I mean, you've got to.
Yeah.
I think Finn Balor's been back in NXT way too long.
Yeah.
So I love them going back and forth, but they need to toggle. They're gonna, like, KO should have gone back.
Yeah, for sure.
Send Sami Zayn back. He could thrive in that environment. Don't ever put Baron Corbin on NXT. Just don't do that to me. But I'm so tired of that bastard. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that the best thing ever would be if they did a draft more often and they stopped letting creative or the networks have any input on it.
I did like that promo they put in front of that Sami Zayn Baron Corbin match. Just like the match no one is looking forward to that they actually aired on SmackDown.
It's like somebody at Fox was. They probably just wanted to get in front of Fox's or WWE on Fox's Twitter, because they just rip shit apart. It's amazing that whoever has control of that Twitter page is not somebody at WWE. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
But our last match
what's next?
is Pete Dunne and Kushida. I'm wildly torn on this one, because they keep what are they? It's kind of like half the roster, honestly, with Pete Dunne. You keep putting him in position to be like a top guy, and then he loses to Finn Balor, or he's kind of like the third guy behind your tag champs sort of thing. And then Kushida ate a pin the other day. Like, they keep acting like they're going to push him, and then it just doesn't ever really get anywhere. I thought he was going to take Gargano's belt, and then he didn't, and then he just sort of disappeared. And this is a matchup of two guys that really need a win and really need a push, and I don't know which one's going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know either. It's I'll agree. It's the same thing. It's they both need they both need the win. I don't doubt the match is fantastic, but who do you actually give that win to? Who needs it more? And I don't want them to do. I want there to be a decisive winner. If this is going to be a takeover, I want them to be a decisive winner. Even if there's something after the match, but the actual winner should be great.
I mean, the downside is that it's likely going to end with Legado del Fantasma costing Kushida this match, and then you have what's his name now that he changed it? Santos Escobar, formerly El Fantasma. It's probably just to lead to a Kushida versus him match for the cruiserweight belt. And I'm okay with it. I'm with you. I would really rather this match end clean and then they attack, but that's not how WWE tends to book things.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Pete Dunne, because one of the best matches I've seen was Pete Dunne versus someone that got spoken out about. But that's still like he puts on an amazing show, and still that Chicago NXT match with Dunn and Bate, still one of the better wrestling matches I've watched on TV too. Like that's really great, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. Um, and Kushida had a great run in New Japan already. He's a little on the older side, so yeah, I feel like Dunn could maybe really capitalize on it a little bit more. So
Yeah.
so yeah,
And
let's go with Dunn.
I do like the idea of Kushida sliding into a kind of that cruiserweight division. Because I think he's got
Right.
enough of a fan base that would follow him. And again, I just found out that 205 Live still exists. It disappeared into the like recesses of Hulu. Sort of like Main Event and Superstars still apparently exist. I had no idea. Maybe that's where all Ricochet's matches ended up. But yeah, I think it would be great if that's the direction they're going, and it's going to be Kushida and Escobar for that cruiserweight belt. It makes sense, and I'll give them credit because that's at least reasonable storytelling. But yeah, I think Pete Dunne gets more out of a win here than Kushida does.
Yeah. But hopefully Kushida also gets some wins very soon. so yeah.
I think once they if they're moving him to cruiserweight, I think he'll start to get like a lot of wins quickly once he moves over there. Either that, or they can move him into the Chris Hero sort of again gatekeeper role. Which I would be okay with too, because at least the matchups are going to be great.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to watch any of AEW?
Bits and pieces. Again, I was installing my my 3%er security system, so I lost track of time today and didn't get to catch up. But I did see a little bit. Unfortunately, what I got to was Cody and QT Marshall, and at that point, I was more interested in installing my my 3%er security system. So,
did you see what happened after the match?
No, I didn't.
So after the match, and I know you might have read about it, but after the match, like basically the Nightmare family imploded, and like apparently everyone's like QT like has Aaron Solo and like all these like huge guys. They're on Dark apparently, or Dark Elevation. So yeah, it's I don't care. So now like essentially like he runs the Nightmare family or something. It's just so boring.
Is QT Marshall gonna be the lead of Nightmare Family Wolfpack?
I mean, that's what it kind of seems like. But on the other hand, I had the criticism.
Shit. If you're gonna have it, if it's gonna be Red, is Dustin gonna come back and be the leader of Nightmare Family Wolfpack? Is this how we're getting to our NWO?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. At the very least, it does seem like the end of the Nightmare family, which seemed the most haphazard like faction ever created. They just kept on adding people for seemingly no reason. So if this is how the Nightmare family slowly dies and it's just Cody again, then that's fine. But yeah, it's just like I like your idea. I'd rather Dustin come in and he's like, oh, he's the actual leader of this faction of the Nightmare family, because QT is just so boring. Like I sent you a little mean girls meme that I made. It's like, quit trying to make QT Marshall happen. It's not going to happen. And I'm sure he's a great guy, and I'm sure he's a great trainer. He owns that wrestling school. I'm sure he's fantastic. He loves apples, but yeah, I can't deal with it.
I knew he owned a wrestling school, but I didn't realize that it was the Nightmare Factory, and he owned it with Cody.
Yeah.
until they somebody posted a picture on Instagram earlier today that it like recommended to me, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What the hell is the Nightmare Factory?" And I looked it up. So, yes, if you are interested in becoming a pro wrestler in the Atlanta area, the Nightmare Factory will take your application.
Wow.
If you are in your mid 30s, make sure that you don't have any existing back problems. Because let me tell you, taking a bump is not for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Um, the what do you think of? So you see the Christian Cage versus Kaz match?
yeah, I did see that. No ring rust. I didn't expect there to be because I mean, he's always been a pretty stellar performer, and
Yeah.
somehow he has come back in better shape than Edge came back. I don't know
Yeah.
what the magic elixir that they found is. I haven't found it yet, and I've scoured Amazon looking for it. Um, but somehow you get to come back in your 50s and have like the best wrestling bod that exists outside of Randy Orton. So,
Yeah.
but like I told you, I've always been a pretty big. I mean, I met Kaz, so I had the soft spot for him anyway. But I think Kaz is a little underrated. He's a phenomenal performer, and he was a great
Yeah.
one for him to have his first match back with.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I think what it does show the story, and I think Cage Side Seats talked about it a little bit. Like Christian Cage came in essentially like picking up Omega's championship, which is just like, oh, I'm gonna like hot shot straight to the top. But this match, I think, says otherwise. This match says, oh, he's got some work to do, but some great work. But he's got to actually climb up the cards. He's not going to just pop to the top like kind of Edge is doing on WWE. So it's interesting. I like to see where this goes, but I like how the juxtaposition, unless they do actually hot shot him to the top, which could still happen, but I think that he's actually gonna have to work for it. So yeah.
Well, his shirts make more sense if he has to work for it.
Yeah. And then I think, oh, and so you haven't watched the Arcade Anarchy match, which it's a little
I
uneven
have
to start
not.
with, but it's just a lot of fun and some nice surprises in there as well, which you may or may not have read about, and maybe the people listening to this podcast may have not heard about it. So I'm just leave that there. I recommend giving that a watch. It's fantastic to hear the Pixies. Where is my mind like playing out with Orange and Chuck coming out. So yeah, pretty great. But let's end it with some crossover, some more I guess Forbidden Door thing. Stone Cold, Chris Jericho. They're sitting down. Have you read that? Have you heard about this?
I
So
have not.
on April Fools, so we thought, okay, this is the April Fools thing. They teased like a Stone Cold, the Stone Cold Broken Skull Sketch Sessions logo, and they had a countdown. Countdown had the same sound as the Chris Jericho countdown from like 1999, or maybe it was 2000, 99 or 2000. Um, so yeah, like so people were like, "Oh, it'd be funny if it was Chris Jericho, but that's not going to happen." And it happened. Apparently, Stone Cold got it because Jericho watched the Undertaker podcast, and so it was like, "Oh, that was a great interview." And then we were like, and Stone Cold was like, "Hey, how about we do it?" And then he was like, "I'll text Vince McMahon," and like he was like, Vince McMahon was like, "Cool, I'm fine with it." And he was just like, and Stone Cold apparently texting him back again. He was like, "Are you sure you're fine with this?" And it was like, and gave him a thumbs up emoji. So it was like, "Okay, we're doing it." So it's kind of great. And Stone Cold said he's no topics not discussed. Like they talk about AEW, they talk about his act. They don't just like, oh, your career you mysteriously disappeared 2 years ago. We haven't heard from you. Like they don't do it like that. They actually do acknowledge the fact that he went to AEW and he's there and working there. So I think that's really cool that this is
Yeah,
happening.
I,
So
I I feel like outside of Stone Cold, nobody else has the clout to make this happen. Um,
yeah,
but you got Steve Austin, who still outsells everyone else for merch, even though he's never actually in the fucking building.
yeah,
Every show you go to has an Atlanta 316 or an LA 316 T-shirt. He's never there. Um,
Yeah.
and it's still, they sell shitloads of them. It's like Suplex City shirts. Brock is not there. It's a random fucking
Yeah.
house show. So
Boise, Idaho, Suplex City.
but yeah, that kind of sounds amazing. Especially if Stone Cold's going to ask him literally anything he wants to, um, with
Yeah.
no repercussions. So, well,
A friend of mine, while we're on Stone Cold, a friend of mine fell for El Segundo Brewing Company, who has the Broken Skull IPA with Stone Cold. They tweeted out something yesterday, and a friend of mine fell for it. It was a
so
Broken
the
Skull
banana
hard
seltzer is
seltzer.
not real. Okay.
It is not real.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was like, holy
because
shit, that sounds disgusting.
yeah, because it was just like there's no way like my friend tweeted sellouts and was like, so there's no way the guy known for pouring beer on his face like after a match, like there's no way he's endorsing a hard seltzer. Like that's not happening. So
Yeah,
yeah, don't be a mark,
well, good
everybody.
on him because that I was a little taken aback when I saw because I mean he had like a full ad made for it to sell this shit,
Yeah.
and I thought, oh my god, who the hell wants a damn banana seltzer? But then again, I saw. Oh, I may have fallen for another one. I saw one that Bud Light was making a pepperoni pizza seltzer.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure you
saw
fell
it.
for that.
I saw it, and well, my immediate thought was, truthfully, it doesn't damn surprise me. They'll try anything for a little while, and who knows? They may have found a
Yeah.
way to make it taste not disgusting, like a clamato seltzer. Honestly, is what that would taste like.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I definitely fell for the Broken Skull banana hard seltzer ad. So your friend is not alone.
Well, don't believe everything you read on the internet. I do think this Chris Jericho Stone Cold thing actually is happening because they showed pictures of them sitting in that on that set. So that's going to happen. And they announced the date and everything. So, and it's past April Fools at this point. So I think we're good. But that's it for now. We're going to be back on Tuesday with, we're going to kind of talk about night 2. There, we'll do our predictions then. And then we're also going to be joining you on Saturday before Mania too. And we'll talk about WrestleMania, a little bit about how we thought NXT went, and then about our WrestleMania predictions. And have a good rest of the week, everybody. Good weekend.
The Rock's energy drink. It's not so bad. This is the wild orange flavor. It's I'm not gonna lie, it's a little expensive for a little boost of energy, but give it a shot. Zoa Energy, Amazon has it now. It's also available at GNC stores if you can find one of those fucking things. We are not being paid to plug this. I just happen to have the can in my hand. Again, Mike Lindell, send me pillow money.
Yeah, he doesn't have any more money anymore. Well,
But yeah,
see
we
you
will see
soon.
you guys Tuesday.